No, you're being too Nick. You're being too specific.
There you go.
I'm kidding.
Perfect. And then we'll go into TV tasks.
Nicholas, am I gonna have to school you on better hosting etiquette?
Yeah, actually, I saw an instructional. It was right here.
Oh, that you know what, Nick? That finger's gonna need to change right about now. And there goes the lightsaber. Guys, welcome to Nerdentials, your weekly dose of the nerdy essentials covering film, TV, video games, and comic books. I hope I did that intro in the previous episode. I don't remember.
You did.
Oh, that's what happens when you record things back to back. Son of a building block. It's Woody! Guys, thanks for joining us here on podcast episode 107. That's right. Triple digits this year, guys. We hit 100 recently. Check that episode out. It's filled with nostalgia. But guys, we're here for episode 100 as the Coon Cannon rocks his deathly unlit lightsaber.
That's a little loud, so.
Hey, dude. I don't mind the hum. I'm throw that out there right now. You let it roar right here. Go ahead. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's set on Darth Vader right now, as far as the sound bar goes.
But the light lies. The light lies. Switch that to red, sir. You're not Mace Windu or Luke. Come on.
It takes a minute.
It takes a minute. Your kyber crystal's not the right color.
Oh.
What?
I had to charge it.
Oh shoot! Something had to. Anyway,
No red for
guys,
you.
I know. Sorry, silly me. Guys, we're going to talk about a TV show today, a particular one filled with a huge amount of fandom. But before I do that, real quick, let me introduce the cast for tonight as Nick opens up a can of tea. I'm guessing tea. It's already way too late for tea. No? I mean, he did wake up at like 5 in the evening prior to recording, so maybe he wants to be up all night. Who knows? That being said, guys, I'm your host, Joe Tweeden. Joining me over here, that guy right there on my screen, that is Ryan Coon, a.k.a. the Coon Cannon. Welcome, sir.
How's it going?
Good. Enjoying the smooth, buttery sound of your voice over these airwaves.
I've been told that before. A lot of people watch my streams just to hear my voice. I've been told that multiple. Like, I just wanted to put your voice on so I can go to sleep. I'm like, okay.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. You are smooth, low-key talking. Most of the time, it's true. You might try some ASMR videos, dude. I don't mean listening. I mean creating.
No, I've been told to do that.
To create some ASMR.
Yeah.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. But
just read the whole Silmarillion.
Why not? In his tone, it could be buttery smooth. Could be a cure for the common insomnia. Who knows? But speaking of,
we're gonna start doing animal documentaries with his voice. Sorry,
speaking of insomnia and anal conversations that shall be removed from this episode.
Animal. He said animal.
Oh, animal, not anal.
Anal commentaries.
I don't know.
See here,
I don't know.
The woman has bent over. This is a casual mating call for her man.
Not just casual. Completely in agreement with. All bystanders were asked for consent. And consent was given. Asked.
As you can see, the woman's mating call has made it perfectly clear what she has desired. The man approaches. He is unsure if he can tame her, but he will try.
And as Nick gives us the proper on-screen cue, guys, without further ado, there's no more room. No more room for more commentary. Guys, let's get into TV talk. Boom! Welcome to TV Talk, guys. I know we set that up way too long. It's in the stream. It'll be easier for editing. The point is, we got a very specific, very huge topic to cover regarding TV. A lot's happened. Truly, there's several shows we could talk about and will in upcoming podcasts. But lo and behold, we're going to try to stick to our timeline and cover what has not been covered, rather, from our channel, and dive in a little bit into the importance of it. So, without further ado, guys, with pictures and a little bit of background included in the post of this, guys, we're going to talk about a Disney Plus series, shorter than most, surprisingly, a whopping 6 episodes, close to the 1 hour length, but it is the next chapter, if you will, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and aka the Marvel TV show universe, if you will. On Disney Plus, we have, and I'll throw the picture up here, a series called The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But we're going to give, to the best of our ability, a spoiler-free review of it. And it went on to be a season 1 affair. I think a lot of us will agree. It was treated definitely as a miniseries once it was said and done. A whopping 6 episodes, about 2 episodes shy of the previous Marvel series, WandaVision. And I think WandaVision played more like a traditional show than this one. And I think all of us will agree that The Winter Soldier, with its full, nearly hour-long episodes that ran about 6 episodes long, worked as kind of like a best summary I could give it is more like a special film, like a specialty film, like a kind of like we're expecting to see like a Black Widow
Like
prequel movie. That's its own movie coming out this summer, but like The Falcon and the Winter Soldier almost works as a buddy cop film.
Like it's a little too long to be a movie, but it's like kind of like how The Stand did it, you know?
It's not short enough to be a full-blown movie. You're right, sir,
Yeah.
and a little too long to be a film, but maybe not long enough to be like a full season series. And
it needed 2 more episodes, in my opinion.
Okay.
At least for exposure, but we'll get into that in a second. But
we're going to talk about our feelings about what the 6 episodes did for us as far as the story goes. So prior to diving into that, let's give a general premise and who's involved. Give me
Sebastian Stan.
2 seconds. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anthony Mackie. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Following the events of Avengers Endgame, this is a huge key point to this whole thing. Sam Wilson, a.k.a. the Falcon, and Bucky Barnes, a.k.a. Winter Soldier, team up in a global adventure that tests their abilities and their patience. And while super vague, I'll add a little more context. This is these 2 characters trying to reestablish their lives post the snap, post Thanatos whisking away half the world's population.
Sir, Thanatos is in this chat. Thanos is the one you're talking about.
Thanatos, Infinity War.
Thanos, yeah.
Thanatos.
No, Thanos.
Thanos is in Infinity War. Nick is Thanatos.
My gamer tag.
I mean, if Nick wants to snap Captain America out of existence, he and I are going to have some fucking words. That's America's ass you're fucking
with. Deep cuts in this conversation. We'll keep it spoiler free for the show, but guys, we implore you, check out the films prior to listening to us, but also encouragement in the comments. You want to see some Patreon deep cuts? We do have that. Links in the description. Real quick, Infinity War, just for context. Avengers Infinity War was 2018.
Yep.
And
Endgame was 2019.
Yep. And we're now 2021 with, granted, 2020 was meant to be the year for a lot of these releases, but due to the world pandemic and COVID and all this crap, a lot of it we're getting in 2021. But we didn't miss anything in between. A lot of matter of fact with everything cinematically is that less than a couple months coming off of those movies, these shows are taking place. WandaVision, check out our last podcast about that. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, again, we're picking up the pieces where they left off after coming back from being erased from time.
As well as losing their best friends, or their best friend.
Right, friends, family.
Specifically Captain America, because he was both of these characters' best friend, and now he's old and no longer Cap.
Right. So just a quick recap, Ryan, since you hit the nail on the head on with that one. At the end of Infinity War, Captain America was charged with putting all the Infinity Stones back in their respective time places. And after doing so, instead of coming back immediately to the time where he left, he decided, romance decided to poke through, and he decided to rather than come back to present time as his present self, he decided to stay back in time at probably the prime time for him and Peggy Carter, where the love of his life, he decided to live out. He decided to live his life out.
This follows after the events of Endgame, and the world is responding to it.
Okay. All right, guys. So, I mean, out of everything coming out of Marvel so far, this has probably been the most unique for a series. We got WandaVision. We covered that last podcast, guys, so check that out on our channel or podcast feed. We covered that in depth, not super long, but again, leave comments down below if you want a deep dive. All of us are super down for deep dive conversations, but today we're going to talk about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Now, like I said before, as we get into this, it's literally, I think, only a year or two, literally after the blip. The characters that have been gone in Infinity War were erased for a total of 5 years. And this show is kind of showcasing what has happened to the other half of Earth, the other half of the population, where how they're coping with having been gone for 5 years, essentially. So that, like, damn, Disney, you knew you had a gold mine on storytelling and what you could potentially do for an entire show by showcasing the struggles that people might go through coming back into a world that thought they were gone for 5 years. And this show touches on a variety of social issues, everything from just getting assistance from our own government to cultural indifferences to refugees, and not just refugees in the current common sense of life, but like refugees because they were a part of our country in America here, and then they were gone for 5 years. And during that 5 years of being gone, the government tried to fill in the voids and support others during this calamity. And what we know in world history as a whole, outside of drama and film and movies and shows, is that the biggest opportunity where humans come together to help each other is usually during crises, world-changing events. Any world, you name a world war, a terrorist activity, 9/11 is within our scope of how long we've been alive. Guys, I know everyone here knows that.
I mean, you really see humanity in its greatest light after a tragedy.
That's what, yeah, 100%. Anytime something significant takes out a lot of people we care about, that the shining spot in humanity of where we're like, we've got nothing but what's left and we need to cling on to that, is what Ryan just said. That shimmering light of humanity shows through crises. And crazy enough, could you guys imagine? That's what Infinity War and the Marvel Cinematic Universe did for us.
Yeah.
Is that Thanos, the supervillain of like 10 years coming, erased half the population, and then after an epic showdown and the heroes, coming on top, we brought that other half of the entire population back, but they were gone for 5 years.
Yeah, and that has massive economic repercussions too.
Economic,
now you have these displaced people.
Yeah,
they want to come back because it was just yesterday to these people.
To the people coming back, yeah.
But the people that were already gone, they've already mourned their losses. They've filled jobs, changed so much,
remarried.
Company owners, relationships, government, everything tried to move on in those 5 years.
Yeah, because they were dealing with loss and grieving, and then suddenly everything's back, and it's a massive shift for people who just yesterday I went to bed, and then I woke up 5 years later, and everything, what the like, it's just...
Dude, I think upon rewatch, after this podcast, I think if any of us rewatch it, it's going to paint a slightly different picture upon first viewing, because it's easy to grasp the concept the first time. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. But then after 6 episodes of being in the mud with our 2 lead characters, the Winter Soldier and the Falcon, Bucky Barnes and Sam Wilson, we're like, these are 2 Avengers that they were part of the blip. They were erased for 5 years.
Yeah.
And then they came back, and now they've got the world to deal with, the present version of their world to deal with, where they weren't there for 5 years. And man, this is like probably one of the heaviest Marvel shows we might see in the next decade, like just because of that concept.
What I think about this one compared to, like, WandaVision was a personal grievance. You got to see it through the lens of someone dealing with one specific loss. This is
a little bit of mental health on this
everyone's loss.
Yeah, and
you really see the effects of it rather than just the personal effects. You see the wide scale effect, and I think they did tremendous on that, as well as the symbolism that was Captain America.
Oh yeah, let's get into that, right? So like we've kind of done a good layout here. I kind of just so that we're not on it all night long. Let's give a general. It's hard to compartmentalize
6 hour long episodes.
Not just that, but like how much this show got into.
How about we do a favorite character as well?
So let's to the best of our ability summarize 1 or 2 of our favorite moments out of this 6 episode movie. I almost want to call it a movie because
spoiler free.
As for tonight, or at least for this recording, as spoiler free as possible.
Okay.
You can be.
I kind of need that distinction now.
Yeah, no, I get it because we could. It's only 6 episodes. spoiler free, one or two of your favorite moments that you can without ruining too much, and I guess we could conclude with like our rating. And then if you guys have the energy for it, we can record longer and I can separate that into a spoiler specific thing that we can release later. But for the sake of the podcast, at least, let's keep it spoiler free.
Okay.
So Ryan, you seem pretty edgy to jump in with some stuff, or you want a little more time?
I'm ready to go whenever. I figured Nick would have the first take because he's pretty knowledgeable about the Marvel universe. I mean, I'm pretty good at it too, but Nick's a long time knowledge base.
He is, and he's been pretty quiet at this point. Nick, do you want to take a first run at this on your thoughts about the show, or do you want to wait it out a little bit?
There was a lot of things happening in the show.
Here we go.
And a lot of people have seen the memes and the spoilers and all those things, so I don't think I'm really going to give anything away here. I like the fact they kept true to the character John Walker.
Me too.
I'm only going to interject for half a second as being someone who is more audience aligned. I didn't know who John Walker was until this show. Just shameful for me, but I'm not a deep comic lore guy, so like it's a character I didn't know that well until now.
Yeah. No, in the comic books, John Walker was originally a character named as American Agent.
This will all make sense as you watch the show.
And he was implemented as a replacement for Steve Rogers when something happened. He didn't die, but he was out and not able to do his job at the time.
Originally,
yeah. In the comic books, he gets his powers and his abilities from a being who deals in giving out powers and special abilities to people. Even by a name that people may hear in this TV series called the Power Broker. So I'm really glad that they kept with that theme in the field. They changed it up quite a bit, but I'm glad I'm glad they connected it. They've actually been doing a lot of that during a lot of the shows and stuff that tie in with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. If any of you have watched Agent Shield, one of the later seasons, Mace takes over as the person who's in charge of Shield. Mace was actually another person who has held the title as Captain America. He is another super soldier, and he was a super patriot after that. But no, what I'm getting into, the John Walker character was someone that I was really happy with. I was actually glad on his transformation, and they actually leaned more into some of the cerebral stuff with him.
Yeah, because I just want a side note. I remember after only the second episode, I just remember your voiced opinion of not knowing the whole series and how it would run. That you said, "Oh, the ending of that episode really pissed me off." And now you're kind of like it related to John Walker, I'm sure, and you're kind of like laying out the transformation of that character here.
Well, I think
end of episode 1.
Yes, but they really didn't lay into who that character was within the first episode.
Right. It was a teaser
until second episode. And then it made sense. I think they did a disservice to Battlestar.
Yeah. Agreed.
Because in the comic books, Battlestar gets powers just like John Walker. And he's actually tied into a whole bunch of other comic books as another fighter and stuff that goes along with other people. He's not just tied directly to Captain America. But that is their rendition of it.
Right.
In the comic books, people don't realize this. John Walker, Captain America, or American Agent, is actually stronger than Captain America.
Huh.
Because if you think about it, the super soldier serum takes you at your level and makes you the peak of what you could be.
Right.
He was already the peak of his physical strength.
Yeah, he had
when he took this on.
medals from serving
Uh-huh.
in the military. Yeah.
He wasn't a diminutive person with issues already.
Yeah.
So it was just a much better base to work with. The other person that I was really happy that they covered in this, and one of my favorite moments, is they covered Isaiah Washington.
Oh, now, dude, this is just a side note. Like, I know you're. I was gonna say, I know you're diving into a little more of like the layout for the show, but is this how comic book lore is? The potential. Okay, I'm excited to hear what you say about him. Okay.
Well, I don't want to go too much in depth on him because
right.
like his backstory and all that within the show.
Okay.
But within comic books, he was actually the first rendition of a black Captain America. He actually took over for Captain America when he disappeared and got frozen in the ice.
Okay, so that's a deep cut for comic fans in the show. Anyway,
yeah.
Right, dude, I loved the representation period, but like the fact that was like a heavy set aspect of comic lore excites me further, dude, to rewatch that shit, dude. Yeah. Go on.
Like,
go ahead.
That segment to me was super deep. Like, it hurt.
Dude.
The way it was delivered, it hurt. Like, Jesus, man, that fucking sucks. Like, I don't want to give any spoilers, but yeah, it was a heavy moment in that series.
What the character felt going through his life, compared to Sam Wilson's perspective of modern America, and it was deep.
Yeah, and to me, this show not so much more so, but equally to the point of rebuilding and reintegrating the half of the world that was gone. The symbolism of the shield itself to each character that was involved with the shield, from John Walker all the way to Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes. Each one of them had their own representation of what this shield meant to them. Mm-hmm. John Walker, he had something to live up to, and he just really wanted to do the best, but you can see where his mind is going each time something goes wrong. Something's not going his way, and it's like, look, I'm not him. I know I'm not him. You don't have to keep reminding me. And then you got Bucky, who's his only connection to modern world is now gone. And then you got Sam, who he was just this Air Force dude going on a jog, and someone saw something in him and pulled him into something greater than just being another guy. And so now you have the symbolism of who's going to take the shield, who's going to step up to this monumental figure. And you got just all these different people, we need a symbol here. We're in a time where
people need a symbol.
Yeah, we need something to give us hope, and we don't have that. Yeah. So I thought that was a really good message of that series, and I think they did an excellent job doing it.
The message I got from the series at the end of it, since you're saying what the message is, superhero isn't about what you can do.
Yeah.
It's about the responsibilities you take for what needs to be done.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. 100%. That show was, it was entirely focused on. It had that premise of like what the world needs for hope and inspiration, but then at the end of the day, it was what we need to lift each other up, what we need to survive, what we need. It's not just that not just hope, but it was that greater representation of what anyone could be if called to do so kind of mentality.
Yeah, there's a lot of messages in this show, and I
Love
think
stuff.
that it did really well on hitting each topic, but I think it did need 2 more episodes just to really give some more. Because 6 episodes is a really short amount of time for a TV show. And they did great with what they had. I just think that they could have done a little bit more just to give us some more content for it.
I think they could have dug more into Bucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even just dig a little more into what was going on with Isaiah. Like, give him some extra stuff and some other. It's hard because I don't want to spoil stuff. So I'm like trying to think, what else could they do with that without giving away what's happening?
I'd like to say this. I think Sam's journey, again, I'm being spoiler free, no worries, guys. I think Sam's journey from where Captain America left him at the end of Infinity War Part 2, where he said, Sam, I'm done being Cap, and then gave him the shield. Like, anyone that's anyone, guys, second highest grossing film in the world. If you haven't seen it, you're crazy. But if you've seen that end scene and you're watching this, you know that the captain in the movies gave the Falcon his shield in hopes that, he would carry on the mantle of being a Captain America. And the cool, crazy thing about the original Captain America is he didn't see cultural barriers. He didn't see constitutional differences. All he saw was a comrade that he fought against one of the biggest world disasters in all of the universe in his mind, and thought, dude, this is a brother I love and would fight for. Who else would I? There's more comic book context for Captain America things, but I just want to say, in that moment, he's like, who aside from anyone else, who else would I want to carry on my legacy? And in that movie, Captain America was done doing his thing, and this 6-episode, I'll call it miniseries, because as a show, it definitely could have used a couple more episodes, like you guys said. I know this needs to be a deep dive episode because we all want to talk spoilers and crap, but I'll just leave this out to the wind. There's just such a beautiful, poetic direction they took this in that I don't think. I was shocked if any of you guys expected the show in 6 episodes to go in the direction it did. I think all of us as nerds were like, this show's eventually going to do this, or this show's eventually going to do that. I think all of us had ideas. I just don't know that any of us expected exactly how they were going to conclude this. But in my opinion, I just think it was a truly beautiful layout for such a short show. If they're gonna do it as a miniseries or a long movie, 6 episodes at nearly an hour each, this is like a two movie 2-parter, really long thing, or a mini show. I don't want to say much more without going deeper into it, just because there's a lot of concepts that were really freaking incredible. If anyone wants to say more, I'll wait on my rating, but I think we should give it a rating. If you
I'm ready
guys,
for ratings.
Nick,
I'm ready for a rating.
Like I said, we could all go deeper in this. I absolutely believe that.
And we could do that another time too. This is still pretty recent since it ended anyway. So
yeah, we could give it a few weeks. So anyone listening, leave a comment, email us if you guys want a deeper dive sooner than later on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We'll go into full spoilers, we'll go into full breakdowns of concepts and where we think the show will go. But for now, we're going to give our rating of this really incredible, phenomenal, unique 6-episode miniseries that Disney has graciously paid for to have done. Of course, the fans are involved. A lot of the directors, writers, and actors are fans of the franchise, and that is 50% of what makes an incredible film or show. And then the other half is, of course, budget. And owned by Disney, they've got a budget.
Deep pockets.
So, yeah, as fans, we don't have to worry too much about that part. As long as true, genuine fans and our artisanal lovers of these stories are behind it, we're going to see some incredible crap. So for a 6-issue miniseries, for a 6-issue mini show, as a show for what it is, as a 6-part action drama, it's a unique setting, but I'm going to stick with my rating. I think for what we got in the 6 episodes and completely being, I would say, an audience-based fan with minimal comic knowledge, I'm going to personally give this a rating of 10 out of 10 for story, action, special effects, the music. I'm sticking by my guns, and I'm okay with anyone else's rating, but mine personally has to be 10 out of 10 for the 6 crazy, almost hour-long episodes we got. 10 out of 10. Who wants to go next? Ryan, Nick, who should I throw it to?
I'll go. I give it an 8.5. And it's not because it's not perfect, like a perfect example of what they could have done. I think, like I said, 2 more episodes would have done it a lot of justice. The cinematography was fantastic. It felt like it was another Marvel movie. They do amazing work. But I think a little more time could be spent with some characters. Like those two extra episodes would have done enough to give some more time with characters they didn't utilize as much, as well as expand just a little bit more on like Bucky and what they were feeling. Like we had certain segments where he's at the therapist office, and we could have gone into what Bucky was doing because we had Sam's daily life, but we didn't get a lot of Bucky's dealing with losing your best friend and just living in a society that, 1, you weren't built for, and 2, it doesn't want you. You're not an A-list Avenger making a shit ton of money. So I think that those avenues could have been explored a little bit more. So actually, no, 8.75.
Mild adjustment over
slightly higher because
self-reflection.
I really loved the segment with Sam's family. I loved that.
Yeah, and the later progression of that was also fun to see without spoiling anything. Nicholas, I guess it's down to you, dude, to throw out your thoughts and rating.
Thoughts. I loved the show. It was pretty good. I actually like WandaVision better. But I felt that this was more gripping to me, for the sheer fact that they were addressing almost a lot of what we're going through now. It felt like, it's just there's a world disaster happening, and they're trying to rebound from it. People have to figure out what to do with all the resources, how they got to come together to fix it.
Division.
Life is divided. There's the group of people that think, the way it was before was better. And then there's the people that think that, hey, we got to control everything without a question of doubt. And I know why they went with that exposition and made it sink in harder for people. And that part I really liked. But there was some creative choices that, yes, I know it was their baby to make it the way they wanted, but one of the creative choices just rubbed me really wrong. One of the characters that has been an ally throughout throughout all the movies was portrayed differently than I thought they were going to be, and it really bothered me. I would give this an 8.
All right. Is it too spoilery to mention the character?
I'll mention the character of who they are and who they're portrayed as, so it won't give away the character I'm talking about.
Okay, fair enough. We'll talk off air.
The Power Broker.
Oh, mm-hmm. Oh, nope. Like, we don't have to say anything about it, but that is very.
We already mentioned that he exists here.
Oh, I mean, it's comic book canon, but like
what it.
The show's representation of that. I'm sure. I personally don't know the difference, but I understand it is very different than what you know.
The original character that is that person and the original version of the Power Broker are completely different people, and they're doing it for completely different reasons.
No, I get that. Yeah.
The reason why I have such an issue with who the Power Broker is because motivations behind it. It doesn't add up with
too
who
different.
The Power Broker was. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The Power Broker in the comic books is so strung up on trying to come up with the perfect serum to provide powers to people that he tests it on himself, so much so that he becomes the most useless version of Hulk ever. What I mean by that, in the comic books, he uses it on him, and he gets so much muscle mass that he is too heavy to move and is bedridden for the rest of his life.
Shocking chain of events. Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's dramatically different from what they do in the show, and we'll definitely leave that.
But the thing that made it most impactful for me, and the reason why I actually liked it, was the Falcon's character. The way he addressed it, and towards the end, the way that he felt he needed to
move forward with it.
Move forward.
Yeah.
And
it was
the way he quite literally looked at the government and said, "You guys are dumb."
No, dude.
I'm saying you just.
Nope. Hey, slow clap. The one thing I'll say without spoiling what it is, won't requote any of it, obviously, but I would like to throw this out there to anyone that hasn't seen it yet. And I'm sure you don't even. Here's my opinion: how impressed I was with that his final speech. I would say do a Google search and look up Anthony Mackie's whatever final speech or Falcon Winter Soldier final speech. I'm sure, guaranteed, there's a video on it because there are so few shows in the world that have such amazing writers that, regardless of your stance on opinion, no matter what side you lean on, you give a speech like that one is given, and you are emotionally affected. It doesn't matter what side you lean on. It's just it's one of those kind of speeches that speaks truth to you when you didn't think you needed any truth, when you think you know how everything is and how everything should be, and no matter what your opinion is, good, bad, right, left, doesn't matter. The speech that was given there I can name only 1 or 2 shows in my entire life I've ever watched where there's a speech given by a character that's written by a writer that's delivered in that way that just makes you go, wow. Or floors you can go and makes you reevaluate your entire perspective on life. There's very few, if any, speeches out there that do that. I can only think of one other one right now, and I'll mention it in a future podcast, dude. But like, I, you can disagree with me if you want. I'd be curious if you agree or disagree. But don't you think, in some way, whether you fully agree with everything said, that that was a really freaking like wow, almost jaw dropping speech, if you will? Like, it just, I mean, I'm being trying to be generalized. I'm not trying to be specific, Nick, and we can cut this out if you want, because Ryan left the scene. But like that final speech in general, just period. Like, was it shocking, stupid, effective, emotional?
It was a great speech.
You can be generic like that if you want to. Yeah, if it's great, you say it's great. Like, yeah,
No,
dude.
that's what I said. It was impactful the way he addressed it.
I know, that's all I'm saying. It's like, damn. And I don't want to give context to it because I want people to see it and actually hear it for what it, the weight of it by watching it. But man,
now since we've all given our rating on it, there's one more thing I'd actually like to say about the show. After this show aired, Marvel announced Captain America 4 will star Anthony Mackie as Captain America.
Well, I kind of hope so with the way this one went.
No, they're using the series, the TV series,
as a
to
transition
expand upon the universes to go into the next parts.
And I figured WandaVision was the same. I knew we weren't going to get like an actual second season. I knew it was like a character transition for her.
And if anyone's paying attention, and seeing it between this one, WandaVision,
Loki,
the Black Widow movie, and all that, they are forming the Dark Avengers. They haven't announced it, but if anyone's paying attention to what's happening here, they are in the background forming these people, and you can see where they could possibly go to be the Dark Avengers later. Now, anyone who doesn't know what the Dark Avengers are, they're after the Skrull takeover, the government gives power to Norman Osborn to lead a group of people to bring back control and order to the world. And how they do it is they grab a whole bunch of people that should be in position of being superheroes and make them the Dark Avengers, including John Walker, Sentry, which is Marvel's sadistic version of Superman, Iron Patriot, which was from Hammer Corporation from Iron Man 2, and quite a few other people.
Yeah, dude. So like some crazy shit's coming.
So I'm hoping they eventually go that way. But
hey, dude, that's a speculative good jab in assessing what they've been doing, to lead us to think, well, where they may be going for sure, dude.
Thank you, folks, for joining us on our talk about Falcon Winter Soldier. Joe, where do we go from here?
Oh shit! I was gonna give it to you.
I don't know.
You had
I was trying to help.
I thought you had the mad Merc props, man. I thought you was ready.
No, I started. My sleepless, addled brain decided to say no.
We here at Nerdentials would like to thank you all for joining us today in today's TV talk. Today we covered the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, as you already know. It was a delightful experience, and we recommend that you watch it. So that way we may do a deep dive for a more spoiler-filled episode. Thank you so much. This is Coon Cannon signing off.
And before you go, sir, thank you for that illustrious, sexy transition. Thank you for that illustrious, sexy transition. Now, me, Sean Connery, I'm going to try to do my best to lure you back in to the right way. No, I'm just kidding. That was me trying to cover up my drunken slur with some Sean Connery. Hope
That's
you
okay.
like
I do a
this.
shitty David Attenborough, so it's okay.
It is what it is, as everyone says when trying to recover from said thing. But, guys, no, true. We had a lot of fun talking about said topic covered by Coon Cannon's illustrious voice. But that being said, leave a comment down below for a deeper dive request and or just, check our Patreon. There'll be content on there someday. Anyway, it's true. Someday we'll get something on there. But until then,
quality cat content for now.
Make requests here and now in the boxes below. That's all I'm going to say, guys. This has been podcast episode 107, TV Talk, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's been great. It's been fun. You know the drill.
Where can they find us?
All the links below. Thank you, Nicholas. Thank you, Nicholas, for the pick me up. Guys, Nicholas, they can follow us all on one amazing website. And what is that?
Nerdentialsmedia.com.
I heard you guys have a TikTok now.
Hey.
Oh, shit. We should probably plug that, too.
Should probably plug that.
Nick, tell them about the Tiki Talkies.
Yeah, there's you can find Nerdentials on TikTok now. We're doing little segments here and there. If you don't feel like sitting through a full episode, you can still enjoy some of our wonderful content and enjoying the hilarity of the greatest hits.
It's true. Greatest hits. For right now, unbeknownst to anyone here or there, currently there's about 9 shorts on there you can check out. They're all like highlights of hilarious gaming moments. But moving forward, we'll not only continue with that in said place of Tiki Talkies, but we'll also occasionally throw up short highlights of upcoming podcasts, like the one you're watching now. So what you're watching now, you'll probably see a highlighted short on the Tiki Talkie next to some gaming highlights and best freak out moments ever. So guys, check out Nerdentials on TikTok as well as YouTube. Thank you. We love you. Amen. And with that, guys, that being said, here we go. Closing it out. The whole nerdy thing on the other side thing. Here we go. As for me, Ryan and Nick, this has been your Nerdy Essentials, and as always, our nerds, how pretentious. As always, nerds, we'll see you on the other side.